You look at Tom Hanks and you see the face of America. You see the man who embodied Mimsar, Rogers, who carried us through Saving Private Ryan, who gave voice to Woody and became a symbol of decency, calm, and quiet strength. That is why the footage that surfaced this morning sent shockwaves through Hollywood, because for the first time, the public saw Tom Hanks not composed, not smiling, but visibly shaken, his voice breaking under the weight of grief and anger. This was not a prepared statement or a polished interview. It happened outside a private memorial service in Los Angeles, where reporters were kept at a distance, but audio still emerged. What people heard was haunting. Tom Hanks wasn't speaking as a colleague. He was speaking as a friend, someone who had witnessed something dark unfolding for years inside the home of Rob Reiner and Michelle Reiner. According to accounts circulating from that moment, Tom Hanks suggested that what happened was not sudden or unpredictable. He implied that this tragedy had been building quietly for over a decade. The narrative that Rob Reiner and Michelle Reiner were simply victims of an unforeseeable snap does not tell the full story. What he described felt far more disturbing. A slow erosion, fueled by fear, love, and silence. Rob Reiner, the man behind The Princess Bride, Stand By Me, and When Harry Met Sally, was known as gentle, thoughtful, and endlessly loyal. But those closest to him now suggest that his kindness may have been turned against him inside his own home. Tom Hanks reportedly spoke of watching unconditional love become a liability, something that enabled a toxic dynamic rather than stopping it. He referenced years of escalating behavior involving Nick Reiner, describing patterns that went far beyond addiction struggles. The implication was not chaos, but control, not confusion, but intimidation. One story that has resurfaced involves a dinner gathering before the pandemic, where Rob Reiner allegedly left the table visibly shaken after a confrontation, only to return moments later and excuse the behavior as pain that needed compassion. That response, repeated over years, may have sealed a tragic fate. Tom Hanks hinted that friends began distancing themselves from the Brentwood home. He allegedly stopped bringing Rita Wilson with him and avoided visits altogether when he knew Nick Reiner was present. The atmosphere, as described, felt volatile, like something waiting to ignite. What makes this even more heartbreaking is the role of Michelle Reiner. She has been described as the shield, the mediator, the one absorbing the tension, so Rob Reiner could continue working and believing things would improve. For decades, she smoothed over conflict, protected peace, and carried the emotional burden of a household under strain. Their deaths together have been described as a final act of protection, not just of each other, but of a family they refuse to give up on. The irony is painful. Rob Reiner, a master storyteller, spent years trying to fix real life the way he fixed films. He even collaborated with Nick Reiner on Being Charlie, a movie inspired by his son's struggles. It was art born from hope, from the belief that understanding could heal wounds. But life does not follow a three-act structure, and redemption does not always arrive in the final scene. There are growing reports that the final conflict was not about money, but about control and validation. The suggestion is that boundaries were finally drawn, and for the first time, the answer was no. If true, that moment may have been the catalyst for everything that followed. Legally, these revelations could reshape how the case is viewed. If this was a long-term pattern rather than a sudden break, it raises questions about accountability and the hidden reality of elder abuse within powerful families. Tom Hanks's visible anger appears rooted in guilt, in the realization that many saw warning signs but chose not to intervene out of respect and politeness. Other figures, including Billy Crystal, are reportedly devastated and furious. The old guard of Hollywood is confronting an uncomfortable truth. Success, money, and gated communities cannot protect you from the people you love most. This story isn't gossip. It's a cautionary tale about the limits of love, the danger of silence, and the cost of believing kindness alone can fix everything. ROB REINER gave the world stories about friendship and hope. In the end, his own story became something far darker.